Today we are going to discuss about the performance appraisal, which is again a very important topic in human resource management. So first of all, we would like to discuss what you mean by performance appraisal. Performance appraisal refers to all those procedures that are used to evaluate the personality, performance, potential of its employees in the company. This is a regular activity, and every company, whether it is a very big company or a small company, used to exercise this particular procedure once in a year, or maybe twice in a year, or maybe thrice in a year. So we have to just discuss what is the relationship between job analysis and performance appraisal. Basically, when we are talking about the job analysis, this describes work and personnel requirement of a particular job, because in this process we have to analyze the job. Then we have to set some standards. We want our employees to up to the requirement gain those standards which we have established. So when we are talking about the performance standards, we used to call it job levels which are acceptable. According to those standards, we have to appraise the performance of each and every employee. So this is the process. This is the relationship between job analysis and performance appraisal. Now the question arises here, why do we measure performance? What is its importance within the organizational setup, and how do we measure performance? Before moving further, we should know the characteristics of performance appraisal. Basically, it is a step-by-step process. It examines the employee's strengths and weaknesses. This is basically a scientific and objective study. And of course, it is a continuous process. What are the needs and objectives? Why do we conduct this kind of performance appraisal activity within the organization? Because it provides feedback about employees' performance. Through that feedback, we can store the information and the performance of each employee in our database. We can diagnose the strengths and weaknesses of our individuals. We can provide coaching if they are not performing well. We can counsel them. If they are performing well, we can plan their career accordingly. We can develop positive relationship and reduce grievances. We can facilitate research in personal management. Now, further we can say, what are the benefits of this appraisal process? The benefits which an employee can get after this performance appraisal are, he or she can get the direction, he or she can get the feedback on his performance, we can give them the input, what else they can do to enhance, to improve their performance, and of course if they are performing well, we can motivate them through this process. Now, what are the appraisal offers to the company? The earlier we have discussed what are the benefits for an individual. Now, what are the appraisal benefits for the company? As far as the companies are concerned, this helps in its documentation, employee development, a kind of feedback about each and every employee, legal protection. If we are just firing any employee, or if we are just giving them the demotion after the performance appraisal, so in order to just secure ourselves, our particular position, so this is a kind of legal protection we can get after the performance appraisal procedure. And of course, if he or she is performing well, this is a motivation system. So we can say, what are the appraisal importance? What are the benefits of the appraisal? We can recognize accomplishment, we can guide progress, we can improve performance, we can of course set goals, we can identify problems. So further we have to discuss about the process of performance appraisal. First of all, what we have to do, we have to setting the performance standards, because we have to assess each and every employee according to those standard performance settings, standard performance goals, standard performance criteria. Then, after setting performance standard, we have to communicate each and every employee what are our standards, how much you have to perform, what is your goal, what you have to achieve, what is your target. Then after the performance, after particular certain fixed amount of time, we have to measure their standard. We have to compare their standard, whether they will be able to achieve those standards or not. Then in this particular performance appraisal, we have to discuss the results. Then accordingly, we have to take corrective standards. Now, what are the issues in this performance appraisal system? There are certain issues which we used to call it Philip model: problem children, stars, plant separation, and social citizen. We have to make a 2 by 2 table. We have to measure the standards according to the potential and the performance appraisal. If their potential is low, and of course the performance is low, first parameter, then accordingly we can separate that particular employee from the company. We used to call it planned separation. If the potential is high but he is not performing up to the mark at present, we used to call it problem children. Then we have to counsel that employee. What are your pitfalls? How you can perform well? What are your lacunas? What you are not performing during your performance? So, problem children employees are generally counseled by the management. If that particular employee has high potential and of course he is performing very high, these are our stars. And if the performance is high but the potential is low, we used to call it social citizen. It means that particular employee is performing because he is working with the employees who are performing very well according to their social background, according to the persons whom they are sitting in and out, he is performing well. This is all about due to their society. We used to call it social citizen. Now, further in next slide, we will discuss about the performance appraisal attribute to firms' competitive advantages and problems in performance appraisal. So, we'll meet you in next class. Thank you.